December 13th, a date soaked in discovery, war, terror, triumph, and the darkest chapters of humanity. A day where footsteps were taken on the moon and screams were swallowed by the silence of war. Let's step through the timeline and uncover the stories hidden behind this day. The year is 1642. The world is still a mystery, vast oceans uncharted, lands unseen by European eyes. Dutch explorer Abel Tasman sails into the unknown, navigating violent seas and unforgiving winds. And on December 13th, he sights the South Island of New Zealand, a landscape untouched, raw, and ancient. This moment marks one of the last great additions to the Western world's map, a discovery that would forever change the course of Pacific history and the lives of the people who lived there long before the sails of Europe arrived. Jump forward 2 centuries, 1862. The American Civil War is raging, the land is split, families divided, and blood floods the soil of Virginia. On December 13th, the Battle of Fredericksburg erupts. Union soldiers charge across open fields into a wall of Confederate gunfire. Wave after wave, cut down. A hopeless assault ordered by generals blind to the slaughter ahead. By nightfall, thousands lie dead. It becomes one of the bloodiest and most lopsided defeats of the entire war. A reminder that sometimes the greatest tragedy is the cost of stubborn leadership. But December 13th would soon witness an even darker dawn. 1937. China. The city of Nanking. Japanese forces breach the gates, and hell follows. What begins on this day becomes one of the most horrific atrocities of the 20th century. The Nanking Massacre. Civilians murdered, women assaulted, homes burned, a city consumed by violence so brutal even war itself seemed too small a word. The world would not forget, and history would forever mark December 13th as the day the massacre began. Then, in the cold of space, hope flickered. December 13th, 1970, the Soviet spacecraft Venera 7 becomes the first human-made object to survive landing on another planet, Venus, and send data back to Earth. For the first time in history, another world spoke to us. Just 2 years later, on December 13th, 1972, humanity took its last steps on the moon. Apollo 17 astronauts Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt walked across the lunar surface, leaving footprints that remain untouched to this day. Cernan would say, "We leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return, with peace and hope for all mankind." It was the end of an era, the final chapter of human exploration beyond Earth. But the world below remained turbulent. 1996. The United Nations makes history. Ghanaian diplomat Kofi Annan is elected Secretary General. A new voice, calm, steady, and unifying, steps into a world fractured by conflict. His leadership would shape a generation of diplomacy and humanitarian action. December 13th, 2000. The United States stands divided. After weeks of political chaos, legal battles, and recounts, the Supreme Court ends the struggle. George W. Bush claims the presidency. A single decision shifts the direction of the world's most powerful nation. Only a year later, December 13th, 2001, terror strikes India. Gunmen storm the Indian parliament, killing security personnel and attempting to ignite a war between 2 nuclear nations, India and Pakistan. The attack shocks the world and brings both countries to the brink of conflict. And then comes December 13th, 2003. A figure once feared, once untouchable, is found hiding underground near Tikrit, Iraq. U.S. forces capture Saddam Hussein, ending a decades-long reign marked by brutality, war, and oppression. For millions of Iraqis, it was a moment of closure, a moment that changed the course of their nation forever. December 13th is a day of contradictions, discovery and destruction, brutality and bravery, politics and peace, terror and triumph. From explorers who expanded the world to astronauts who left it, from leaders who shaped history to atrocities that scarred it. Every year, this day reminds us, history is not just a record of events, it is a mirror, reflecting the best and worst of who we are. This is December 13th, a day of memory, a day of warning, a day of truth. And this is history.